when people saw my own work, they looked at it from different lenses. They would stand in front of a painting and there would be 5 or 6 people and everybody would identify something different. And I thought, well, this is really fascinating because it really proves that perspectives matter, because when they pointed something out, I couldn't unsee it.
So we're here with Mazarine Memon. Thank you so much for your time today. I speak to a lot of people on this series that usually are in more traditional business and leadership roles, and some of them would call themselves artists, but now I'm actually talking to a real artist. Mazarine, it's great to see you again. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, Jasper. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Now we got to connect and work together on a couple of campaigns that were happening where you were invited to lead a number of people in the tech industry through workshops about thinking different or learning to think different through art. For people that have not had the privilege like myself to go through this, help them explain what is the essence of the workshops that you're doing.
Well, the essence really is all about, I've used this psychological phenomenon, which I never knew there was a word for it, called pareidolia.
Okay.
And it's really, in simple terms, when we'd look at cloud formations and somebody would see a soaring eagle, somebody would see a bear. That was actually the process of my own work. So that's how I started creating my work. And I realized that when people saw my own work, they looked at it from different lenses. They would stand in front of a painting and there would be 5 or 6 people and everybody would identify something different. And I thought, well, this is really fascinating because it really proves that perspectives matter, because when they pointed something out, I couldn't unsee it. And I thought, why not create something like this? Because creativity, I believe, is such an important element in the business world now. And the fact, Jasper, that your organization had this workshop with me, and it kind of validates that you've invited me on to talk about this. The whole idea behind this was understanding, because I think when perspectives are diverse, there is a lot of conflict because we don't tend to see where those people are coming from. This particular workshop, the basic essence is seeing different perspectives in a really fun and cool way, because we tend to get playful with it. I kind of remind people that we're all inherently creative creatures. We crave creative expression. And this is just one way of me showing you how you can kind of bring that gene out. And also, in the workshops, we kind of work off the same ink blot. And everyone tends to see something differently. And again, when the storytelling happens, there's a deeper connection, because then you have those aha moments and you say, okay, I get where you're coming from. For example, when we did a workshop, we had done it in Washington, D.C., and there were about 30 people. And this was in 2022. So they were or 2021, they were just about meeting after COVID. They were onboarding 12 new employees, and they were all across the country. So some people saw fire, but they were from California. So people kind of understood them from beyond the context of work. So really, that's the essence of the workshop. Seeing the diversity of thought, knowing that there are no right or wrong answers. It's kind of a non-biased way of kind of talking about what you see. Really, that's the context of it.
I think it's really interesting that you call out the importance of that second step, which is when then people share what they see and why they see that, or why they think they see that. Because a key learning for me also was that it's great to get other perspective, but it's also a very eye-opening or humbling experience that, well, I have my background. So yes, I'm from California and I just had a bunch of raging wildfires. So yeah, I definitely saw the fire there. And I convinced myself that this is a picture about fire. And it's a great eye-opening experience that you need to try to throw away your own, your bias that you bring to the conversation, if you will. Can you give some examples of what you've seen in your workshop of people, having those aha moments that they took away that stand out for you when you think about all the workshops that you've done? Are there some of those moments that you went like, these people clearly, got it?
Well, also, I think a couple of examples that I can give you. One is that there were people on a strategic kind of a brainstorming session, and there were all these blocks because it was just so confined to a certain brief, and we have to get this right. And suddenly it was like, okay, we need a workshop to just open up and unlock these roadblocks that we are kind of facing. And imagine just having this, everyone's just like, there were no numbers. It's not like, okay, paint by numbers, we are within the lines. Suddenly there was this round robin and everyone was exchanging their ideas, and it just sparked off that creativity. And I could suddenly see that, oh, I was working on that problem, and suddenly I see the solution to that. Now, I'm not saying that's all the time, but I guess when what I'm trying to say is when you kind of move away from the problem a little bit and move to another problem, it kind of gets you in the flow. And what I've noticed mostly is they kind of it's kind of a form of doodling. So
Yes.
you see, when you doodle, and we stop doing that, when you doodle, you tend to kind of get in the flow. You sort of disconnect from the problem quite easily, and you're like, it's kind of meditative. And that sort of opens up so many roadblocks that you're facing. So I've seen that in these sessions that they have when they're brainstorming, that, okay, let's just take a break and let's just get into this doodling thing. And then they've exchanged ink blots. Sometimes they've picked up different ink blots, and it's just, they kind of reach for the color because I guess they connect with it because of a certain, well, their background, ethnicity, or geographic location. I've also seen it in terms of onboarding employees. So we just actually recently did a workshop, and they grew exponentially. Like from 10 people, they were like suddenly 60 people. And they really never had the time. So to kind of onboard them properly, to kind of get into the company culture. So this was a great icebreaker too. And it was a mix of management and the teams. And it was really fascinating to see where management would point out and see, I didn't know that you were good at that, or I didn't know that you had that way of looking at a certain visual.
Right.
They kind of box them into their role within the team, but not their role within the broader organization and what that corporate culture was. So those were the moments which was like, yeah, beyond the context of work, you're getting to know them so much better. And then I found that there was a lot of that understanding and that inclusivity happened, because when they kind of exchanged ideas and they said, what do you think about this? They suddenly felt included. Mm-hmm. They felt that, yeah, my opinion matters. Because now, Jasper, if you suddenly tell me, this is what I see, but now that I know your background, or I know that, oh, you've come from California, I can get it. I wouldn't be kind of quick to judge, to say, oh, I don't think that's right. But I said, oh, I see why he's seeing that, or I see why he's explaining it that way because of wherever you've come from. Those are the moments which I find the connection and the collaboration is so much deeper and so much more meaningful, and of course, less conflict.
Yeah. Mazarine, if you think about unleashing that inner creativity, if you will, looking at or digesting and analyzing something that you've never seen before, like an ink block or a work of art, is one way of doing that. But I know that in your workshops have evolved, and they've grown beyond just the interpretation and the analyzation and the discussion about what you see in art. Tell us more about the next stage, if you will, of the workshops.
So we've extended the series of the workshops to include movement, and I've collaborated now with a health coach who brings in movement, because there's a lot of proof out there that movement does increase the creativity in your brain. And I have seen this for myself. When I'm kind of stuck, it's like, let's just go around the block for a quick walk. We've seen the correlation, and it's really wonderful when people jump off their desks and do these really quick little movements and then get back into creativity, because everybody's so energized and you're sitting at your desk such a lot. So yeah, that's the added little element that we have had to the workshops now.
Awesome. So Mazarine, not everybody can, whenever somebody is in a writer's block or has a difficult decision that they can't get out, not everybody can just snap their fingers and find themselves in a creativity unlocking workshop, if you will. Mm-hmm. So for people watching this, is there like a best practice that you can share that people that are watching this that have not yet done or have maybe one time done the workshop, but a small little a tip you can give them, a best practice you can give them to continue to unlock that internal creativity? What is something that we can do in our day-to-day if we don't have the time to be in a workshop right now to unlock that creativity?
Think of whatever calms you down. Because for me, I would say just doodle. Just pick up something and doodle. Just look at a blank page, write words, just scribble. But that's just one way. But if you feel it's music, if you feel it's just a little jumping jack, or just going out away from your desk for a walk. So it's just those little things. And creativity is so vast. So whatever it is that helps you calm down, helps you focus, just get into that. I mean, for me, it would always be art. So I would just say, pick up a pencil, pick up a pen, and just doodle, and just close your eyes and just scribble whatever comes to your mind. Yeah, I hope you got that. I hope that makes sense to you.
I got it.